Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is LaQuisha Anderson, and I have the pleasure of serving on the Family Engagement Commission for the California State PTA. And tonight we have a very phenomenal father here. His name is Murali Vasudevan, and he's going to talk with us today about male participation on campus. So, Murali, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you, Lakeshia, for inviting me. I am Murali Vasudevan. As Lakeshia mentioned, I have been with PTA since 2012, which was my volunteer job. And basically, I am an IT professional with over 30 years of IT experience. And for the past few years, I have been helping nonprofits in my community, one of them being PTA, mainly using my technical skills. And I was board member of various PTAs in ABC Unified School District and also with ABC Council PTA. And I was also fortunate enough to work with PTA leaders from 33rd District PTA and California State PTA during the past few years.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate you. So can you tell me how you got involved in your children's school?
Yeah, so that was, in fact, kind of, I would say, accidental because being an IT professional, I just stumbled into this technical opportunity, I would say, with one of the PTAs of my daughter's schools. By the way, I have two daughters. Both of them are now graduated and they are no more with ABC USD, but I continue my PTA advocacy. And so basically, as an IT professional, I was looking at opportunities to help PTAs in my daughter's schools, and I saw that they lacked technical expertise. So I was able to help them with their web presence, creating a website, and also improve their manual way of organizing membership drives, reflections, and all those other activities. So that's how I got hooked to PTA, and then I found this enormous opportunity and gap in PTA and passionate volunteers. So then onwards, I was able to work with various PTAs, and I was able to help them become more efficient by using all these technical tools instead of their age-old manual process.
Lovely.
And so then, one led to the other. So basically, then I created some membership management portal. Those days, when California PTA didn't have that, now they have a statewide portal, but this is before that, right? 2012, 2015, that time. So also created some portal, online tools for a council PTA, for the units to upload documents and perform various tasks. And then, I got interested in, knowing other PTAs in our council PTA. And then I worked with them. And then, of course, PTA, by getting involved in PTA, it helped me to work with principals, school board members, and the teachers, and we were able to implement some interesting programs on the campus, which helped basically to get more students and parents and teachers, understand and join PTA. And on top of it, basically, my employer, gas company, they had this volunteer incentive program, which is, in fact, a lot of employers in the US offer that, but many volunteers don't know that. So for my volunteer effort, they matched like a $250 every year. And so not only that I was able to volunteer for these PTAs, they were getting matching contribution from my employer. And then obviously, right, I mean, definitely I found California PTA website extremely helpful. And I mean, that is my one message to everybody, because they have so much resource information. I mean, it was mind boggling. I mean, the wealth of information and the way they're organized it and how easy it is, right? You name it, if you have a problem or if you have a question, they have it, right? So I was kind of borrowing ideas from there and implemented a lot of those programs, which I'm sure I mean we were part of a team, right? I mean, basically, like even things like simple things like setting up PTA booth, right? All the events. Till that time, nobody knew PTA was in those events. So now we were able to set up a booth, like some get a PTA tablecloth, right? I mean, that alone, like it's like a big ad, right? Then buy all these PTA, gift items, T-shirts, pencil, pen. I mean, and give away at the booth, right? And as a small token of appreciation for your volunteers or even public and even your members, right? Um, so then also, basically, like it was just very rewarding to explore all these options and you see the impact they are making and so it was a great experience. And basically, like I mean, I was able to uh, uh, basically try all those ideas and suggestion tips and tricks and strategies explained on California and National PTA website. Pretty much a lot of those things, we were able to implement and see the effect.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I heard you speak of the impact of your volunteer work. Can you let us know how being involved in PTA impacted your children and your family?
Yeah, so that's a very kind of a tricky question, right? I mean, to be very frank, right? I mean, that is one thing I would caution, right? I mean, if you're very passionate about any anything, right? Because you have to now distribute your effort between your passion and then of course your family and your work. So that way, I would say that what I mean. Um, I had to be take some tough decision at times, where I had to evenings I had to attend council meeting, board meeting, PTA meeting, and then all kinds of things. So yeah, I mean that can conflict with your your family time or kind of kids, um, some events or sports or some. So that way it was a little bit conflicting. But again, right, if you are very passionate about something, I think you should be able to balance that. And so from again, I want to think that my work inspired, uh, of course, my family members as well as other residents in my community, because they could see that if you are what you call persistent and passionate about something and keep working at it, right? I mean, you can definitely make things happen. And that's what I always say to people, right? I mean, there's a first time for everything, right? I mean, I'm sure, like I think many times when we brought up some ideas, I think our peers, board, others in the board looked at it as like, what is this? I think it's crazy, right? I mean, then I mean, but we just went about it and we we made it work and things like that, right? So yeah, it is basically if you're passionate about something and then if you're committed, um, pretty much you can make anything happen. So yeah, I mean those are the messages I want to send to not only my family member, even anybody who works with me, so that we can.
Great, great. So you spoke about your two daughters and they're adult women now. So what keeps you involved despite your children being adults now?
Yeah, so that is another, very, I would say, uh, one of the common myths, I would say. I think even PTA is also very clearly says that. I mean, your involvement should not stop once your kids graduate from the schools, because that's what a lot of parents think that, you know what, yeah, I have one more year because my son or my daughter will be graduating. I'm saying, no, what do you mean? Because from my experience, it will be such a waste, or it will be very hard for me to walk away with all the things I learned, right? And the knowledge and experience I gained, and walk away from PTA, and then see, if everybody does that, you know what, there will never be continuity, and all these experience and wisdom, they all go waste, right? Just imagine, like, for example, right? I mean, me with like 10 years of experience, if I, instead of walking away, I get, because now I have more time. So that's the thing, right? Once your kids are out of school, most of the time you get more time, and then so now what I find is that now I can be more productive because now I have more time, and also definitely you have more experience. You have been there. You know what are the typical, issues, or I mean things which are coming in the way of PTA flourishing, right? So I found that, what, almost like you take a mentor role, right? So that now you pass on your experience and knowledge to the new generation, so that hopefully they don't have to learn all the things the way you learn, right?
Right.
They don't have to make those mistakes and learn, because we can tell them, hey, these are the things. And so that's one thing I tell everyone, that, what I mean, get more involved, and same thing with the community members, right? This is one thing for the PTA leaders also, right? As a PTA leaders, I think I have seen many of them think that they only talk to the parents of the kids, right? I'm saying, no, I mean, talk to, like I'm sure, I'm glad, some of the things we have done, right? We went and talked to Cerritos Council, right? Um, Same thing, I talked at the school board meetings, because these are very powerful stakeholders, partners, right? Community partners, like our council members, right? Chamber president, right? School board members, superintendent, and through them we can reach out to other community leaders, right? Congress members, right? Senators. I mean, and these are very powerful stakeholders, and reach out to them, right? Make them, join your PTA, and invite them for your, events, and use them as your, advertise ad agents, right? So yeah, I mean, it is it is very interesting that, but again, right, to me, a lot of things I learned subsequently, right? I mean, I didn't learn everything um, when my kids were in the school. So once they left, then now I started exploring more. After I have more time, then that's when I found that, there are these additional opportunities. So yeah, again, one of the things I try to do is that, I try to bring uh, PTA into the council and school board, because for every community, right, the city council and school board, they are very, interconnected.
Mhm.
And PTA can, and both are dealing with, a lot of local issues, community issues, of course, schools, and of course, PTA advocacy is, it's part of that. So this one, I think, PTA leaders can definitely, get a lot done for the school and for community by partnering with all these stakeholders.
I agree. I agree. For our fathers out there who are also working professionals like yourself, what tips would you give for them to balance their volunteer life with their professional life?
Yeah, so that is probably the I would say hardest thing, or even trickiest part, right? So we all have 24 hours, right? So we have to decide how we want to distribute our time between, family, job, and volunteer work. So I think the key here is that, that's one thing I always tell uh, uh, parents, or even anybody who wants to join a PT, especially in a leadership role. I tell them, right, basically first understand what you are getting into, right? As the saying goes, right? Basically, bite only what you can chew. Don't sign up for some, president or some of these, very demanding titles just because nobody else is, you know, uh, running for that. But because in a way you are doing disservice
Mhm.
by by occupying those positions and unable to deliver, right? So that's what I think. Talk to people like us, right? I mean, and of course, California PT again. I say they have very clearly explained what are the roles and responsibilities, right? Because the key here is that a good PTA requires definitely good leaders, and good leaders means you need leaders who are trained on PTA and who have time to do that. Because that's what I tell always people, right? If you want to become a PTA leader, board member, it is not just enough to attend your board meeting and PTA meeting the 2 hours per month. No, that, but to do that, you have to do work a lot of time outside those 2 hours, and make sure that you have time, right? Or you are able to make time, or you have people whom you can delegate, and so that you are not becoming the bottleneck, right? So basically, right, I mean, because what is unfortunate, it's not only in PTA, right? In today's world, we can see that with all these social media, LinkedIn, etc. Right? People sometimes, just want to make their resume colorful, right? Saying that, oh, I am in all these boards. But realistically, you cannot be, do justice if you're if you're like 5 or 10 board, unless that's your full-time job. So be respectful, and and make sure that you understand what you're getting into, and then and make a detailed plan, and give it. Um, uh, don't treat it like, because there is a very famous saying. Somebody said, I don't know who it is, maybe anonymous, saying that volunteering is something where you can mess up and still be thanked. I don't think that's a very wrong attitude. That's not, because my take is that I mean, volunteering is very, I would say, very sacred and very divine. I would say a kind of task. I mean, give it. I mean, the respect and the commitment it takes, right? And I mean, my take is that treat it just like your work. You know, because it's very important, because you can, if you mess up, you can you can create a lot of damage, right? As we all have seen. So yeah, I mean, make sure that what, it is not used for advancing a personal agenda, and keep the organization your primary focus.
Thank you. Thank you for those tips. So, what would you say to men who believe that volunteering in PTA is for women only?
Yeah, that is a very another, I would say, um, misconception, right? So a lot of uh, men think that way, and that's why I think I was even talking to California PTA membership chair a few years back, and they were saying, like, it's almost like 80%, 90% of the PTA membership is women. It's unfortunate, right? I mean, one reason could be that uh, does it mean that they have more time? I don't know. I mean, whether that can be. I mean, if they are not working, maybe they have more time. But still, I would say PTA definitely need men also, because, for example, like people like me, right? I mean, we play a very key leadership role at work. So just we can utilize those skills, right? Planning various events, planning various stuffs, right? Communication, event organization, fundraisers, right? Just so we do that at work anyway. So just bring those skills at your PTA. Sometimes I would say, you know what? I have seen some PTA boards. I mean, they don't have people with some of these kind of skills. So that's what I think. Definitely men. If you have if you are, still observing from the sidelines, jump in and, and start, help your PTA with your skills and train other board members with some of these things. And it can definitely, and this is what I would say. You are missing a lot. You don't know what you are missing because it is self-fulfilling and rewarding. If you once you get involved in the PTA and then the impact, positive impact you can make, it is by itself is very rewarding. So yeah, make the plunge today.
Yes, take the plunge today. So Murali, can you share with us your thoughts on how schools can be more welcoming to men to volunteer on campus?
In fact, this again, right? I was looking at California PTA. Right? California PTA clearly explains, right? They have separate one of the page. It talks about the dads in PTA, right? And they that's what I believe, right? It clearly says most of the time dads are not participating because nobody asked them. I think PTA also thinks that, so I think it's kind of it kind of feeds by itself. Male participation is lacking. Now, PTA board sometimes are dominated by women, and they think that it is just, so yeah, just so I think California PTA says very clearly that, just ask, right? And that's what it takes. And make it, make a welcoming, landscape, for men. And because, as I said, right, most of the time, they bring to the table some skills which you may be lacking, right? So yeah, approach them and ask for their help and yeah, make them responsible, right? And find out why, maybe conduct a survey to find out why male participant lacking, and then try to address those issues. And definitely, I think I have seen that when you make a conscious effort, it works. So somebody has to realize this gap and then work towards it.
Absolutely. Okay, in closing, Murali, can you give us some tips on how we can increase male participation on campus?
Yeah, so again, right, it is basically like when you say male participation, again, I don't want to make it as a dad, right? There are like uncles, grandpas, right? So yeah, basically, right, create those kind of events, like, some fundraisers, like, I have seen sometimes they have like, things like sports events, because sports sometimes attracts men, right? So things like that. And also ask them for help, right? Things like, for example, many PTAs need, some good accountant, right? So most likely, I'm sure if you reach out, there will be somebody who has the accountant background, right? So ask them to help with your financial and things like that. And technical, that's one thing I always say, right? There is always, because that's how I was able to help most of the organization, because whenever I walk into the organization, I see a lack of technical leadership, right? And some geeks, they love to jump in and help you, but you have to be the glue, right? By themselves, they don't know. So as long as you know how to tap into this kind of different, skills and kind of thing, right? That is what is needed. And things like, for example, right, grant. I think a lot of PTA I have seen, they don't even apply for grant. So these are the kind of things, right? You can do from your home. look at for grants and write a grant application. Write a grant application is a very special skill, but it can help a lot. Same thing, organize, training for PTA officers and, run the meetings and um, also implement programs, right, to help student volunteers. Like, for example, right, things like help students to uh, take their help to organize events, run events, manage events, and basically they're going to mentoring them. Right? I mean, act as a mentor so that they can get exposure to all these kind of soft skills and leadership skills, and that will help student participation as well as more parents participation, teachers and things like that. So yeah, I mean there are a lot of ways you can again use PTA websites. They have so many. Again, all things I am saying, it is pretty much I borrowed it all from California PTA, National PTA websites, and they have very well organized website with lot of flyers and documents, videos, and PTA organized webinars. A lot of them, you can see that they just follow the California PTA Facebook page. They have a lot of webinars nowadays. I think there's a lot of resource available, and leverage those things, and yeah, and learn new tips and tricks and apply it in your PTA and see it grow by leaps and bounds.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Murali. So we want to thank you for sharing your insights with us today. And for all our dads, our grandfathers, our uncles, our brothers, we ask you to join PTA, bring your skills, your talent, and your passion. And we hope that we can just make it a very welcoming environment for you all. And we look forward to increasing our male participation in PTA because we need you guys. We do. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you.